Yes. Let's go, 5. Boo! 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 Come on! Let's go! Last one! Come on! This is what we do. Come on! Come on, 5. You got 5. Yep. Ooh, let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Last one. Oh. Come on, go. Come. Yep. Oh. Come on, let's go, last one. Come on, yep. Oh, let's go. Come on, get 2. 1. Yep. Yeah. Finished. Come on. Let's go. Yep. Come on, get 2. 1. One more. Come on, let's go. Last one. Come on, finish. Yep. Oh. Oh. Oh, get another one. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Oh. Woo. Come on.
right, BG crew, just wrapped up a really good chest workout this morning. Just an absolute solid session this morning. Absolutely smashed it. Just a great workout. I want to jump into some questions and comments, but before that, let's talk a little bit about today's workout. You'll see in the video, I started out with some dumbbell work. Started out with the flat bench dumbbell press, moved over into incline dumbbell press, and then started some barbell work. Did some barbell incline press, some flat bench barbell, and then pec deck, and then finished up with some power bands and did a chest press finisher with the power bands. Overall, just a solid day, smashing the chest. Really great workout today. You'll see in the video, specifically on the incline barbell press, I added some bands today and added some band variation to that movement. And I'm going to tell you what, that absolutely shocked the body. My chest was smashed after that exercise. It was just a great addition to the routine to add those bands in, to change things up, to shock the body. Obviously, I use a lot of chains. I really want to start pushing the band work over the next little bit. Now, obviously, I've used bands many times in the videos, but not so much specifically to barbell work. So again, I really want to, over the next little bit, incorporate bands into my barbell work. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the overall goal, as I continue to stress and continue to talk about, is you have to constantly keep things changing. You have to constantly keep using different variations to keep the body guessing. Keep shocking the body. And again, adding bands and chains are a great way to shock the body so you're not stuck in the same old routine, the same variations over and over and over. That might be adding bands and chains, using different grips, different bars, different angles, and right down to switch your splits up. Switch your splits up. Change the days. Maybe you do chest on Monday, one week, the next week you do it on a Wednesday. Constantly keep things changing and rotating. And even in the workout itself, keep things rotating. Maybe for 2 weeks you do barbell flat bench first. And then you switch up, and for 2 weeks you do incline barbell first. And then for another 2 weeks you do dumbbell press first. And you're constantly rotating these exercises to keep the body guessing. One thing we want to avoid, whether you're a strength athlete, a bodybuilder, a strength, a lifting enthusiast, what have you, the overall goal is to avoid plateau. We want to avoid plateau. And the number one way to avoid plateau is to keep the body shocked. Keep the body guessing. And it's small things like changing your workouts up, changing the rotation of exercises, changing grips, adding bands and chains, changing angles. It's all these little things that can add such a huge benefit to your workouts by just changing the smallest things. So you'll see on the incline barbell press today that I added some bands, and I'm going to tell you what, my chest was smashed after that. You'll also see in the video that I did change some things up a little bit as well. Over on the barbell flat bench, I did 6 sets, 10 to 12 reps, and then I did a bonus set, and I just did 1 rep, but I added a little heavier weight. I did 315 for a single, and the goal there was just to tap into the central nervous system for the upper body. Yesterday, I tapped into the central nervous system when I hit those rack pulls, and today I tapped into the central nervous system for the upper body by adding a little more weight to the bench press than I've used in a little bit. So it was really nice. I felt really good. The weight moved really smooth. But again, the body was trying to figure out, why is all this weight on me for that 1 rep, right? So it's constantly keeping the body guessing. So that was huge. So you'll see that in the video as well. And then, like I said, I ended with pec deck, which was a great stretch. Nice squeeze, get a lot of blood, and then topped it off with the power bands with the chest press movement. So overall, just a solid workout, and really pleased with today. So a couple things real quick, and again, I'll jump into some questions and comment. I don't have a ton of time. And again, I hit just some of it that I want to talk about, is the constant changing and variation, shocking the body. Again, it's so important that you add different variations, different rotations, different routines into your workouts. That's so important. The next topic that I wanted to hit was this conversation about volume. I get a lot of questions about the volume that I'm using in my workouts. To me, the volume that I use is perfect. Why? Because it works for me. The volume that you might consider, or the volume that I'm using, you might consider as being way too much or way too less. It all depends on what works best for you. The volume that I'm using works really well. My weights are relatively light, but the volume is relatively high. And I find a balance between that in order to get the best benefit out of that. But I get a lot of questions and or comments that say, wow, that's a ton of volume. You're never going to recover. You're never going to make progress. That's way too much. Again, it's not. It works best for me. Again, so when we talk about volume, make sure you figure out what volume works best for you. The last topic that I want to talk about has a little bit of the volume talk in it, but it's more or less the combination and finding a happy place between both intensity and volume. You'll notice in today's video and yesterday, I used a little more intensity on some of the lifts, the 1 rep on the bench and the rack pull yesterday. Why? Because I want to tap into my central nervous system. It's so important that if you're doing high volume routines or you're doing some bodybuilding splits which have higher repetitions in them or higher volume, that you constantly switch things up and you add intensity into your workout. We want to keep triggering the central nervous system. It's so important to keep the central nervous system active and healthy, and by doing that, we use heavier weight. So again, that's the other part that I want to talk about, is constantly find a balance in your workout routines, in your training splits, to have both high volume and some days of intensity workouts with heavier weight and lower volume. So that's very important. We want to keep the central nervous system active. So there's a couple things that I just wanted to hit. So let's jump into some questions and comments. Just a few that came in over the last little bit. Got the first comment coming in here from Peter Miller. Peter Miller, it is so good to see your comments on the channel, my friend. Peter Miller, definitely an OG of the BG crew, just says, hey BG, it's good to catch up with all your videos again and see that you're training as hard as ever. Never let up with the intensity. You know it, Peter Miller. It's good to see your comments. Absolutely, still killing it, my friend. We're still killing it. Matthew Strength with emojis, of course. Shout out to you, Matthew Strength. Another one here from OrthoBro3 just says, is squatting and deadlifting once a week enough to build strength, or should I do them twice a week or a second variation on another day? Appreciate the videos, bro. Keep crushing it. Again, this is a question that it really comes down to it being all relative for you, depending on how you recover, depending on your body type. I mean, there's so many different variables, right? So again, definitely do what works best for you. But if I was to give some general feedback to this, I think deadlifting and squatting heavy once a week is definitely plenty. I would even suggest when you deadlift heavy on 1 week, squat light. Do a squat variation with really light weight, maybe higher volume. And then when you squat heavy, do some deadlift variations, again, with some higher volume, some lighter weight, right? So again, keep switching things up like that. So you can squat and deadlift week, but make your priority maybe 1 week is a heavy deadlift, and then the next week is a heavy squat, and then vice versa, while including your lighter squat and lighter deadlift coupled with those heavier deadlifts and heavier squat day, if that makes sense. So again, switch things up. So you can definitely deadlift and squat once a week. I would suggest, my own personal opinion would be, don't squat and deadlift heavy every single week, right? So, you have a deadlift day and maybe a squat day. In both those days, you're going heavy, going all out on those days. I would do deadlift heavy on 1 week with a light squat variation, and then a heavy squat the next week with a light deadlift variation. And then, of course, even on your heavy days, switch those days. Not switch the days, but switch the variation up. So for deadlift, maybe you pull off the floor 1 week heavy, and then you do a light squat variation. And then the next time you deadlift, you do a rack pull variation, a deficit pull variation. And again, keep switching things up. Same with squat. You do a straight free squat heavy, and then the next time you squat heavy, you do a box squat, you do a front squat, you do a Zecher squat. There's so many different variations. And then you can incorporate, obviously, the bands and chains into those movements. But just to answer kind of your question in a general sense, definitely I think squatting and deadlifting heavy once a week is plenty. And I would strongly suggest deadlift heavy 1 week, squat light with a variation that same week, and then the next week squat heavy, and then do a deadlift variation somewhat light on that week as well. So you can do both, but kind of balance them between and do, again, a heavy and a light. That would really be a great way to kind of break down your split. So hopefully I answered that. and hopefully it wasn't too confusing. Got the next one here from Ground Dog for Life 665. Just says, always amazes me how much volume you can handle, work capacity, 100%. Again, like I said, you heard me talk about volume. It's all relative. I am in tune with my body. I do know when to back down, when to push it, when to take rest days or have a recovery workout. Again, it all depends on how I feel. But again, my body is just not adapted over time, but has become accustomed because I think I'm constantly switching things up. I think that's very important. That I'm constantly switching variations. So again, I'm not plateauing in volume with the same thing over and over and over again. I think that's a huge benefit too as well. So either way, appreciate the feedback in the comment. Got another one from Pear Smith 7271. Just says, good job, my white brother from another mother. Way to crush it. P-Dog just got it done. Let's effing go. P-Dog, I know you're out there smashing it. Loving the comments on the channel. You know that, bro. Keep killing it. Appreciate the comments. Another one here from ML 2024. Just has some emojis, a trophy emoji, and then some boom or bomb emojis. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. Got another one here from Zen's Live or Zen's Live. Sorry if I butchered that. Any tips on how to get bigger numbers on squat? I would say my number one tip outside of the talk of today of constantly switching things up and using different variations, I would definitely incorporate speed work. Get your dynamic work down. Again, find out what your max is on the squat and then break that down. So take 50% of your max and work on dynamic squat days. So again, taking 50% of your max and then you complete, again, the old West Side Condit method of dynamic and speed work of 10 sets of 2, 12 sets of 3, 8 sets of 5, 5 sets of 5. Again, constantly switching it up, but again, only at 50% of your max. Work on your explosive, your speed work. Work on your explosive strength. So again, yes, the bar weight is only at 50%, but your explosion, your dynamic, your speed is at 100%, okay? So definitely work on your dynamic and your speed work. I think that would add some amazing numbers to your squat for sure. Appreciate the comment/question. Another one here from Tracy Brovin 3997. Just has timestamps here of 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And then another timestamp of 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Just says, this guy is like a wild animal ready to kill the weights. I love it. You know it. Appreciate that, Tracy. Appreciate the comment. And then the last one, and we'll end here, guys. I don't want to take up a ton of your time, is from Daniel FR3WY. Just says, my guy, let's go, bro. Keep up the great work. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. With that, guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Kind of went a little long-winded on a few things, but either way, appreciate all the questions and comments, and we'll see you guys for the next workout.